that I have your attention, let's broach a fresh new topic. Gender. It's a subject that's been disputed for decades, divided into many subcategories, and yet some believe it's static. Gender is a combination of physical, mental, and social characteristics that dictate much more in life beyond which public restroom we use. To clarify, we're not talking about sex, but gender. What's the difference? Well, see, a woman is biologically a woman because she has 2 pairs of X chromosomes, where the male has an XY chromosome. That's sex. For gender, a woman is socially a woman if she voluntarily watches Say Yes to the Dress. Crystal clear now? While traditionally viewed as polar, gender nowadays is considered more complex than what parts a person came with. Merely talking about this topic is enough to make half the population blanch. But occurrences of sex reassignment surgery suggest that the brain and its body aren't always a perfect match. However, what if someone went through a sex change operation without this internal drive to want to be the other sex? Say, if they were coerced into it and it didn't work out for the best. Apparently, we'd make a musical about it. Specifically, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Originally an off-Broadway production, Hedwig was released in 2001 after its initial run. You may have heard that Neil Patrick Harris stars as Hedwig in the recent Broadway revival. But before Doogie Howser wore the wig, it belonged to John Cameron Mitchell, a huge force behind anyone knowing Hedwig's story. And what a story it is! It contains love, passion, betrayal, ennui, breakups, breakdowns, and most importantly, a case study of someone disconnecting with their own identity. Total disassociation. Let's start with Hedwig, the epitome of the double-take drag queen. I mean transgender. Except he's not technically transgender because he didn't actively want to be female, but terminology aside, he's not what one typically thinks of as a man in a blonde wig. He actually pulls it off quite well, unlike other instances. Hedwig was a necessary creation when Hansel let Luther make choices for him. God, you scared me! What? I was just going to tell them about Hedwig's life. What would that spoil? Oh yes. Did I mention this is a character piece? Every new song leads to a new memory from our lead, which when all pieced together, creates the tragic story of Hansel losing himself to the whims of others. He decided, when the world offered him an easy way out, to take it despite what he'd lose. And what does it cost him?
To walk away, you gotta leave something behind. Am I right, Mrs. Schmidt?
I always thought so, Luther. To be free, one must give up a little part of oneself.
Rice and beans! That great expense would be quite enough most of the time, but Hedwig did this to get out of East Berlin in 1988. Those with a little bit of knowledge of history may note that that's shortly before the wall came down, freeing everyone of the oppression. That doesn't mess with Hedwig at all. Okay, maybe a little. By the way, there's a lot of Brenda in Hedwig's face, isn't there? It's uncanny. When his relationship breaks down, the reason to use Hedwig as a cover is gone, and yet it's all he feels he can be with any comfort. Psychologically trapped by an easy answer that's become his entire life. I could talk for hours about the flux she feels between he and her and the voluntary sacrifice to permanently take on the wig, but that's not why most people watch this film. Did you know that Hedwig's also a rock star?
6 inches forward, 5 inches back. I got an angry inch. 6 inches forward, 5 inches back. I got an angry inch.
And that she uses her own life story to fuel her lyrics? Yeah, that's one awkward concert. Hedwig uses music to tell the highs and lows of her life, with angry, bitter songs expressing her anguish and slow ballads sharing those moments that gave her quite a feeling of being whole inside for the first time. The subject matter of gender is never belabored, just present, and Hedwig does her best to find love in the most inconvenient set of circumstances. She does gather a following with her music, as well as a handful of people she can keep close and confide in. However, the one she really wants is the boy that got away. And by got away, I mean ran away with all of her songs and claimed them as his own. Relationships are hard. Tommy Gnosis, who even took the name from Hedwig's influence, is a young boy that grew up in the tutelage of rock and roll, with guidance from his strange muse. After a bit of confusion over the he-she thing on his muse, Tommy runs off and finds someone to produce a recording of all the music he made with Hedwig, or at least what he heard her make, and can pare it back pretty well. And the pending lawsuit that Hedwig is pushing for is a constant subplot of the film, driving her actions as well as some of the key plot points. And unfortunately, we never get to see any of that courtroom drama. It's a shame, really. Might have been fun to watch.
Order in the court!
I don't have cameos in my show.
This isn't your show, it's a trial! Push in the plaintiff!
Scoot over. Hey, Dick.
That's Judge Dick to you.
So what I read in the bathroom stall is true. Alright, what's going on here?
Psycho, you are charged with kidnapping, wrongful imprisonment, and hijacking another's show. How do you plead?
Wrongful imprisonment? Hasn't everyone in the show done that? Oh, and I'd like to add in the charge of totally ruining this review.
Quiet, or I'll hold both of you in contempt. That's better. Now, do either of you require legal representation?
No.
Are you sure there's someone right outside offering legal counsel?
I represent you, though. I represent you all you're in the defense, yo. Even in the offense. Heck, any kind of fences you want. White picket fences, chicken fences, cow fences, demonstrating humping. That's what I got this for, yo.
Wait, was he a lawyer or a contractor?
Both now.
Can I state my case yet?
Right. Take the floor, Socio.
While explaining what Hedwig is and spoiling the whole plot can be interesting to those who haven't seen it, he completely forgot to provide what everyone comes to reviewers for. Additional insight. Here's an example. Hedwig is a story of creation, using love and hate as tools of the trade. Memories of those loving moments, they create the ballads, those nice soft tender moments. The piercing wails you hear in some of his songs, that's that pain that won't go away and won't find any satisfaction. People relate to that. When someone's in the throes of a bad breakup or sailing high on a great day, they identify with those moments in Hedwig's performances. That's a huge reason why it developed a cult following over the years. It has emotional intelligence. And what if I was about to say that? Really? Prove it. Oh, come on! It's also a story of how revenge hollows a person out. When Hedwig finally proves Tommy a fraud and takes center stage, she's completely spent and alone despite all the success she's attained. It's all meaningless without that connection she sought all of her life. Objection! He's missing the point!
Sustained.
Have you ever done this before?
Silence!
Hedwig has her breakdown on stage, where she literally strips off the camouflage and reveals Hansel, finally performing as him for all the world to see. It took a long, rocky road, but the audience sees that he no longer needs that disguise to exist. He can actually be himself after all that repression and make his own choices not dictated by his disguise or his condition. Now, he is finally free. It's not an empty tale of vengeance, it's a rebirth. It's hope that you can actually turn your life around no matter how deep you've gotten into the muck. If Hedwig can do it, anyone can.
Well, it does sound like you were missing the point, Psycho. Anything to say in your defense?
What's one man's opinion really matter? We all have them.
True. And my opinion is, you're guilty.
Yes! That's not a real gavel.
It's my third string gavel. Now, on to sentencing.
Come on, exile. Come on, exile.
Psycho, you will relinquish control of Socio's set and show immediately, then be forcibly enrolled in a 12-credit astrobiophysics course taught by Professor Kelvin.
Do you mean I'm not under academic suspension anymore? Yay! Oh my god! Thank you! Thank you! I need to go buy my books right now! Do you think you're at the end of what you said?
Doesn't matter. Case dismissed.
So kids, what have we learned today? There, better. Well, what I've learned is Hedwig is truly unique. The DVD case boasts that it reinvented the rock musical, and I would agree. It took a very tricky subject and turned one man's struggle with his gender into a very enjoyable character piece, one of the best I've ever seen. It's dramatic, catchy, and fun, all while maintaining a serious tone. Hard balance for any musical to find. I know it's surprising to hear, but I think everyone should watch this at least once. You'll find yourself humming Sugar Daddy for days. I'm the other socio.
Wait. Professor Kelvin is teaching the course. Can I be exiled?
And Psycho's in for a world of pain. Wrongful imprisonment, really? Is that even a
I'd like
charge
to add
on
the
this show?
charge.
Everyone's done it.
Don't walk all over my line.
No, what? Hey. This is hard enough working with you, okay? I don't need your attitude. No, you walked all over my line. I wasn't done. Kidnapped me and then he wants me to be polite. Let's just not talk about it. On to the next take.